It's time to balance arrogance and humbleness. One thing when you're developing a mindset of living in your passion and knowing that you have infinite potential and knowing that you're a special person, you can come off as arrogant. And today I want to help y'all blend the two of arrogance and humbleness. Now I'll let you know this for sure 100% when you're developing this mindset, people will think you're arrogant at times. People will think you're better than them when maybe you're not even that. Nobody can truly know. We talked about this in some of the previous episodes about how everybody has a different definition of success because no one truly knows who you are. And we talked about that in almost every single one of the episodes. Nobody ever truly knows who you are. Nobody can truly call you arrogant if they don't know your why and why you're doing things. And so sometimes when you're walking in your purpose, when you're walking in your passion, you can come off as arrogant. And for me, I've been called arrogant in my life, and I didn't want that. I didn't want somebody to think I was an arrogant person. I know I was an arrogant person. Maybe I was at the time, and I have to work on that. But what I want you to know is there's going to be times where people think you're arrogant, and you have to understand the way society is set up, the way society was made was for people not to realize their potential, and for most people to never know what their potential is. I mean, I sound crazy right now saying that I have infinite potential. That sounds insane, and I believe every single one of you have infinite potential. But for me to understand that, and for me to understand that that's something that not everybody understands, means there's going to be some people who think I'm arrogant for thinking I have infinite potential. So understand, when you're walking in that passion, when you know you have infinite potential and you're growing every day because you're living in your passion, you're going to seem arrogant. But that doesn't mean you should be arrogant. Let me make that really clear, because you shouldn't want to be arrogant. You shouldn't want to be arrogant for the reason of somebody thinking you're arrogant. I don't really care about if somebody thinks I'm arrogant. I care about just being humble for myself. I want to be humble for myself so I realize the value of me being right here. There's a lot of reasons I could go on forever on why I should be humble, why I should be thankful I'm right here in this seat. We talked about in the infinity decimal how many times you could cut things in half till you get to zero, which you really can't. So there's so many things in front of me that got me to this place I am right now. There's so many reasons. If it wasn't for my father, it wasn't for my dad, if it wasn't for the support of my girlfriend, it wasn't for somebody laying their life on the line for people who look like me to have the opportunities to chase their passions or to do things they loved, I wouldn't have this opportunity. So if you want to really hit your potential, you have to balance arrogance and humbleness. And I said that weird. You have to balance arrogance and humbleness, because you have to understand, and this is the key. We all know we have infinite potential if you're agreeing with me right now. We all know that. But the key to being in balance with arrogance and humbleness is understanding that not only are you special and not only do you have infinite potential, but everybody has infinite potential. Everybody has that in them. Everybody has that one thing that makes them special inside of them. It's just a matter of time till they find it. So when you see that person maybe not living in passion, maybe they haven't listened to the Root of Everything podcast yet. You got lucky. You knew me, or you found me on Instagram or whatever. You got lucky. You know what I'm saying? But don't mix that up with that person just not being on your level. And I used to have that problem at times. I used to think, man, but I was able to go to a certain school at an early age. I was able to have a father who could peep me on some game early on at some times. So value everything in your life, because it's going to allow you to keep going. If you get to a point where you really think you're above everybody, you're going to lose the reason why you're even doing something. You're going to lose the true purpose of your life, because then you're really going to lose motivation, because then you think you can just walk around and just do whatever you want and you're still going to be popping like you are now. But you're only going to be popping as much when you're doing it for the real reason. And so understand that, I got to walk around and be confident. I'm a firm believer on being confident. You got to be confident, and it's going to come off as arrogant to people. But that doesn't mean to actually be arrogant. It just means you might come off as arrogant. You have to mix your arrogance with your humbleness to become who you want to be, and that's to reach your infinite potential. So remember, you reaching your potential, you living in your potential that's going to one day be infinite, understand that doesn't put you over everybody. And understand that humbleness is also going to help you get there. And it's nothing wrong with anybody thinking anything of you because of this mindset. Just understand and do it for the right reasons, and you'll be all right. So balance those two. Just wanted to make it clear. Now we're going to hop into the next segment. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Root of Everything podcast. If you enjoyed any moment, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and rate us on all podcast platforms. And don't forget to go to our website, rootofeverything.com, and hit our button, Weekly Root, for our weekly newsletter of all our content.